Welcome to the Build with Boundaries podcast. My name is Manaz, and this podcast is for high achieving women looking to grow without sacrificing family and life. Discover what's missing and making you frustrated, and what's most important for you to achieve the success that you truly desire. All this without compromising the most important things in your life: your time, your family, your values, and your aspirations. So let's dive into today's topic.
Welcome, everybody. This is the next episode. I have a guest on with me, Lauren Smit, and we are talking about thinking your way to better marketing and more clients. So, first, I would love to introduce Lauren. Lauren Smit is a marketing mindset coach, helping women in service based businesses attract quality clients so that they can build a fulfilled life with family and freedom. She was in the brand and marketing industry for over 8 years before finding her passion for coaching in 2020. She realized how much more of an impact she can make when giving women the tools to build a thriving, successful business where they have time to spend with family, but still absolutely love what they do. I so love this, Lauren. I think
Thank
we have a
you.
deep resonance with a lot of things that you've said there. So I'm so excited to have you on this podcast. So welcome, and please introduce who you are and how you help your clients.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So, yes, you've said it all. I really help my clients to understand how they are thinking about their clients and their marketing and getting clients so that they can do it in the best way possible, where their intentions are solely to serve their clients. Because we can get in our own heads so much. So, yeah, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love that. And it is, when we put the people that we're serving at the heart of everything we do, everything changes, our thought process and so much more. So I'm really excited to dig into this topic. So first, let's start with your journey, because obviously you haven't been coaching since forever. It's
Yeah.
something that you discovered. So how did you find that purpose and how did you come to doing that?
So I started off as a graphic designer and I did done for you strategies for clients. And in between doing all of that, I just realized that I wasn't enjoying it that much. And I have two kids. My boy is now 5 years old and he was small. And so he went to my sister's school and I helped teach there a little bit because they needed a teacher. So I filled in a little bit and I really, really enjoyed it. And so that was sort of like a little bit of a starting point because she kept saying like, how are the kids so quiet in your class? Or how are they so well behaved? And I really just, said, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing differently. And so like the teaching aspect and the problem solving aspect became like a big thing that I started to enjoy with my clients. So when we came to the strategy piece, like when we design the brand and we get to the strategy and we look at the marketing and who they're serving, the problem solving and the mindset became so exciting for me to do. And I just also realized, like, even with the branding and the done for you strategy, you need to be looking at deeper, like, limiting beliefs and self awareness to actually help you build a successful business. Because I don't think we all realize that when we start our businesses, we sign up for a big self awareness journey that nobody talks about. Because you realize where you might have money mindset issues, where you are underselling yourself, undervaluing yourself, all of those things. And in order to like break free from that, to avoid burnout and all of those things, which around boundary setting and stuff, then we need to look at those things and like come out of that. So the school was a tipping piece in the teaching part and the problem solving part. And then I had my own coach to help me with my business. And that's kind of where I just realized I have kind of been coaching a lot of people my entire life without knowing that it is coaching. I have a lot of older siblings and they always would ask me, or some of them would ask me like questions, even though I didn't have kids at the stage and things like that. And so I've always kind of been in that capacity, and I love it. It's the best thing I have ever come across.
Oh, I love that, Lauren. There's so much there. Like, you're right. You fall into this world of, obviously you've got experience with working for others in terms of the marketing, but everything that you've learned like so far has led you to be where you are now.
Yes.
And all these experiences and then helping like small business owners is just so passion driven. And that impact that you have in terms of the marketing and the work that you do is just goes to a different scale, because it's something obviously you're deeply passionate about helping, but also you don't often realize that that is your strength, right? Because you
Yeah.
kind of do it, like you said, that you didn't know why the kids were behaving so well, so it's like it's something that comes so natural to you. So it sounds like you definitely found your purpose, because it's like lights you up and it's really something you absolutely love doing, and then you help others who really love what they do as well.
Yeah.
So I
And the
love
ripple
that.
effect from that is just so
Yeah.
beautiful, because when we get to do what
Hmm.
we love and our purpose, the other people get to thrive, and that ripple effect that it has within
Yes.
women and families, and it just goes so far. It's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes it's seen and unseen. I just want to point that out, because in
Yes.
marketing, everybody thinks, oh, well, if marketing only works if you then get a client. But, you don't know how long that journey is. And in the meantime, you don't know how many people are being affected by what you're putting out there. And they may never, ever be your clients, and being okay with that.
Yes.
I think that's definitely been a highlight for me. So tell me, what's the biggest struggle that you feel and that you see with getting more clients? So, as a business owner, that is always like a real pressure point. Like, if we don't have enough clients or we don't have more, then, we're not going to have income coming in and X, Y, Z. And there we go. We go down this rabbit hole. So, what is the biggest struggle about this?
I would say there are definitely a couple of factors. There are strategies that work, but more than the strategy, it is how you are thinking about your marketing, about getting clients, about money, about your ability to help people. Because even if you don't have the best strategy, if you have the thinking that is towards like always finding the solution, you're just going to be willing to try everything until it works, because you're willing to
Right.
check in with yourself, you're willing to check in with your intentions, and you're willing to focus on the people who will get the best results and who you really want to serve and see the impact that you have on their lives. So I think there are strategies that work better than others, and there are all of these things that play a role in our marketing. But there's more than that. Is we need the thinking and the determination which goes with the thinking in order to
Right.
just really keep going, be more consistent, and figure it out. Really, really just be willing to have that resilience in our thinking.
So, what I'm hearing that you're saying, Lauren, is that just the thinking that we have and those thoughts will either prevent us from doing the thing, or it will allow us to do the thing.
Yeah.
Am I right? Is it in a nutshell? Is it like as simple as that?
It is simple, but there's also some gray, because often it can push us to the one side of avoidance and paralysis, right? And it can push
Yeah,
us to the other side where we are just bulldozing everything,
true.
and we're like, but I'm doing the thing and I'm doing the thing, and nothing seems to be working. But underneath that, there is certain thinking. So perhaps like if you're thinking like, I just need to work hard and these people will come or whatever, then you're just bulldozing and you're not problem solving. So you're just like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
working, I'm working, I'm working. And then other limiting beliefs. So for example, if you think um, that people don't have money, like you end up doing things to justify the price of
Right.
your offer, or you keep offering discounts because you keep just seeing evidence that people don't have money, right? And so there is the paralysis and there is the action taking, but there's also just the real piece of it is the underlying thought of what we're thinking that causes us either to not take action or to take action. And paralysis is also not taking action. Or a paralysis is also taking action. That's what I mean. It's
Yeah, yeah,
doing Netflix or or coffee
yeah.
dates that you shouldn't be doing, which is something that I do, but I'm avoiding.
Exactly. No, but this is it. There's always like tactics that we use to avoid, but we're not necessarily recognize them as being the procrastinating tactics that
Yeah,
we are employing without even feeling like it was a choice. It was just like I did this and that was
yeah,
it.
exactly.
So what can be the first steps then for us to realize like how can we do better marketing? Because it's definitely it's affecting our mindset, but we may be aware of it and we may be not aware of some of the things. So, what would be the first steps that you would say to others that they can start with?
Yes, so definitely start with journaling. And journaling doesn't need to be pretty pens and stickers and something that somebody can find. You can journal on a scrap piece of paper and throw it away afterwards. The power of journaling is that you're able to mirror back the thoughts that you're thinking about your
Right.
marketing or about landing clients or even about money or even about your offer. If you keep changing your offer or if you keep changing your niche or something like that, you get to mirror that back to you. So that would be a great start. And then even asking yourself questions in terms of shifting the um, the focus from you and how you're feeling about your business and about your marketing and shifting it to the person that you're serving. So journal about who is a great person for your offer. Why are they ready to invest? Why do they already have the money? Why do they agree with everything that you have to say? Why won't they judge you? Because if we have those limiting beliefs around people will judge me, then you're going to create content where you're trying to make sure that there's not as much ammo for people to judge you, whereas people are going to judge you and think of you whatever they think of you. But if you know that this message is for the person who is going to resonate with your message, you're just going to say to those people, it's okay that you don't resonate with me. You can go and find your person, but this is the person that resonates. I'm speaking to the person who resonates with my message, for example. So journaling would be the biggest step so that you can create that self-awareness around your thinking about yourself and then the thinking about who you're trying to target and sell to.
That's a great way to look at your kind of avatar, as people would call it in marketing, because otherwise it's just random, isn't it? And we don't tend to stay consistent with something that we're borrowing, either that we've seen from other people, and it just doesn't have any genuine, like real rawness that's coming from your heart. And I feel like when you're talking about journaling there, it really is about like going inside and thinking, who do I want to serve? And really being aligned to that and being consistent with that. Because if you know there's that type of person out there, just trying to speak to that one person is so much better, isn't it? Than obviously trying to do what other people are doing. And that's a trap
Yeah.
that often people just get caught up in with regards to their marketing, because there's so many
Yeah.
people saying a lot of things, and sometimes maybe it works for them, it does not mean that it's right for you. So what would you say? I guess that's maybe a great place to go into. There's so much noise out there in terms of marketing. We're constantly being marketed to or at, and it can have an effect on us. So do you have any thoughts on how that has changed, perhaps in recent times, particularly?
Yes, sure. I just quickly want to make a comment on what you just said. How we market brings about a certain energy. So the thoughts that you're thinking is causing you to subconsciously use certain words which can either cause you to be trying to convince your audience or trying to justify things that you're trying to say, or you're trying to make sure that they understand you, which means you're overcomplicated and over explaining something, for example. And that all brings energy to the table. Even if you just have that belief of like, I'm not the best person to help this person, that energy comes through and people struggle to trust you because you're not trusting yourself, right? And so that's again, when you have that energy, it feels genuine and people connect with that and they trust you. So if you are using content that other people are saying, or, you're just trying to do these templates or whatever the situation is, the energy that you're bringing to the table isn't your energy. It isn't your thoughts. Even if you're tweaking them, I would say like, just make sure that you're keeping your best client, your ideal client in the forefront of whatever it is that you're writing. You can use that templates and use other people's information as like a source of, inspiration, but make sure that it isn't just, oh, I don't know what to post today, so now this person has said this thing and I resonate with this and I'm going to use that. Just, if we know who we're speaking to, we can keep our message really consistent because we're not worried about how we are feeling and whether we feel like showing up for social media today. We actually have either a document or some very good idea of who we need to speak to. And that's also really helpful in staying consistent. And then to come to your question, I just want to confirm, are you asking, in terms of comparing yourself to others on social media, that's what you're asking me?
Yeah, because I guess we see that a lot, don't we? If we are marketing ourselves, we're also seeing other people's marketing at the same time. And
Yes,
that I think for different people, they can have a different impact.
yes,
Some people just stay in their lane and, like you said, it's very much about being genuine and being authentic. But some people are actually being affected by it, is what I'm
yeah.
what I'm kind of getting at.
It
Yeah.
is really, we are being affected by other people. And if you feel like you're having thoughts of like imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough, and all of those things, when you read people who are in a similar field content and things like that, I highly recommend, even just for your mental health, to unfollow them, right? And maybe just try and scroll less so that you can focus on yourself and the people that you're serving. Because the more you can learn to listen to your own voice and to your own opinions and be okay with sharing your own opinions, even if it changes in a couple of months or years, because that's the whole point of growth. We're so scared of saying the thing because we're so scared that it changes, like our opinion changes or the information changes. But just knowing that that is
It's
part of growth, right? So the more we can stay in our lane in terms of focusing on us and listening inwards and really trying to put the focus on our ideal clients, we get to show up authentically
yeah.
with our own energy and our own opinions, being okay with like saying the things and sharing what we believe in. And again, I'm saying this as though it's just like, this is what you do, put your phone off. It's so easy. And we all know
Yeah.
it isn't that easy. We all worry about what other people are going to think of us. We all worry about rejection or judgment and things like that. But knowing the bigger impact you'll have by sharing your message and knowing
Yeah.
who it's for can be such a big game changer in terms of being okay with knowing that there will be people that don't resonate with what you have to say. And that's okay. They have other
That's
people
okay.
that resonate
Mhm.
with them, and you might not resonate with them. And it's just, you can feel empowered by that
Yeah.
when your
Yeah.
focus is in the right place. So yeah, that's definitely
Oh,
what I would say.
that's amazing. So good to that conversation, and that is really key, because I think even myself, thinking about marketing, and we can see that in ourselves. Our marketing changes over time. It's absolutely okay because we're changing all the time. The seasons are changing. everything around us changes. The time, the clock is moving. Like, it is okay. And still being authentic with what we know now is like, it's our opinion, it's where we're at just now. It's good enough.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for myself has been releasing that expectation. If we pin all these expectations on my next
Yeah.
post is going to do X, like how
Yes.
how much pressure are we putting on ourselves to like create this post? And then you're right, we're probably using the wrong energy to create it because and without even knowing it, subconsciously we are creating it from that place of lack, I guess, and of pressure and not really truly being ourselves because we're like up here with our stress levels rather than being
Yes.
open to what it is that we can share without any expectation. It just brings a different energy. So I love how you shared your perspective on that. I know that that will be really helpful for the listeners. So, what advice would you give, Lauren, to others who are perhaps struggling with this mindset for marketing? Because it's almost like you have to tap into, marketing yourself with the right energy, just like you said.
Yes. I think a big part of it is that we can do all the journaling and the self-coaching, and that is very helpful, but it is a lot slower than getting a coach or a mentor to help you. It's helping you see things objectively and then being able to move forward from there so that you are creating change and not just keep doing the same things over and over again. Like you think you're doing something differently, but your brain is still processing everything through that limiting belief of like, I'm not good enough,
Hmm.
or they don't have the money, or they won't invest in me, but they'll invest in them. You're processing everything through those limiting beliefs. And so you're not going to get the results that you want. So I think it's really important to, if you don't get a mentor then or a coach, is to try and really dig into how you're going to do things differently the next time, in terms of like, okay, I've figured out that this is something that I believe in. I don't want that anymore, because also that limiting belief is not making your ideal client feel great about investing in you, right? So that's the whole point of
Right.
it.
Hmm.
And so then going, okay, what am I trying differently? What am I doing differently? But definitely, I think also just coaches just help you to see things in such a different light. And it's so, again, like empowering to get that help and to move forward and to then see the results that you are getting. I've been celebrating my client all week because she's just been getting people in her direct messages asking to work with her. And last week we
Wow.
were looking at auditing her content so that she can have more call to actions and make more offers. And this week we haven't even looked at that yet, and she's getting all of these people's. So
Right.
it's just beautiful when you can do that.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so nice to share those wins. And it's just like you say, having that outside perspective where they're not attached to they're definitely not emotionally attached to any of the things that you're doing, and just getting that honest advice can sometimes be the best thing that you can do for yourself and your business, because especially if you've been struggling along and kind of doing marketing but it's just not working, so you have tried it, but then you can't see what you can't see, and sometimes having that other perspective is so valuable in a lot of areas of our life. So just like marketing, because we know what we want to say, but we don't not quite sure
Yeah.
what people are hearing, and there's that kind of slight disconnect. And sometimes having that voice to share an opinion that is not emotionally detached is really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. So let's move on to 3 tips then. If you could share 3 tips on how people can look at creating the right mindset for marketing. Ultimately they're wanting to get more clients, but if we don't get this marketing piece right, then like the client bit has not got a chance, has it?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing is that you need to shift focus. If you are feeling a certain way about your marketing, like it's not working, the focus is probably on you and not the person you're wanting to serve. And again,
Right.
who is that person? So really look at answering questions like, why are they ready to invest in me right now? Why do they have the money and they agree with everything you have to say, right? Who is that? Like, because we want to take the judgment and the shame and even certain pain points in some way is showing people what they lack instead of who they want to become. So another thing is like, who are they becoming? Because people looking at becoming the next version of themselves are ready to take action, right? They're already
Right.
looking for solutions. So why is your ideal client already looking for a solution and want to get your help? And so that shifts your messaging so much from like keep telling them what they're lacking and what's going wrong for them and where they need to sort of you know buck up or whatever the situation is, to like how you empower them and how they are already empowered and you just help them. Another big thing that I help my clients think of is how resilient their ideal clients and resourceful and capable they already are, right? Because if you're thinking of your ideal clients as broken and you need to fix them and like they've got victim mentality and or they're not willing to pay the price or whatever that limiting belief is that you have about them, then what happens is your marketing ends up needing to convince them to buy from you. And once you have to convince them to buy from you, you have to drag them along through the entire process. And so when you think of your ideal clients as capable and strong and resourceful, maybe like right now, they are just a little bit lost and maybe they don't have that much confidence at the moment. And maybe they need to borrow some of your strength and belief that you have in them. They need to borrow from you. But you know that you just have to give them that little bit of empowerment and that little bit of support, and they will come in and show you how resilient they are and how capable they are and how much more they can do from there. And so I think that's just such a big shift to help you to see things differently instead of poking at the pain points and poking at the things that are wrong. So I don't know if those are 3 tips, but those are really definitely something that will change the trajectory of your marketing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think when we look at things in a different light and, like you said, shift that perspective, then all the other things start changing around it. And that's what's beautiful about marketing, because when you start feeling like you're enjoying having these conversations, there's no like expectation attached to it. It feels like you're just storytelling or sharing, but not in the way of I must sell this
Yes.
in this post, I must get a DM from it, or somebody must sign up, then it's hard and it's not an easy task, but we're all on this journey and we can step by step start noticing, I guess, where we're doing those things. And that in itself, I guess, is helping us to shift the mindset, right? Right, Lauren?
Yes, it's so amazing because you aren't putting pressure on the I would say like you're putting pressure on the wrong um play
Right.
or in the wrong place or whatever, because if you're offering, you're just there to serve, you're there to offer value, and you are
Mm-hmm.
selling. It's not that you're not selling. You are saying, yeah, come work with me. This will give you so much more
Yeah.
than just this post or just this
Mm-hmm.
workshop or whatever. But in the end of the day, your intentions are there for your ideal client, and selling to them is also a good intention. It
Mm-hmm.
shifts that energy so much. And so, yes, it is so much valuable, so much more valuable
Yeah.
than putting the pressure on you yourself.
Absolutely. If one last thing comes to mind, Lauren, I think, especially post COVID, they say that like the marketing touch points have increased massively in comparison with before. What's your perspective, I guess, on that? Because we could see it like oh my goodness, someone has to like actually see my stuff 15, 20 times before they even recognize that, I'm the same person saying the same consistent message and that's what she does and whatever. Or we can kind of see it as an opportunity that we're looking at building relationships because, 15, 20 times when they see your stuff, there's much more trust built. So yeah, I guess what do you see this change, if you like, in how people are absorbing that marketing and how they're being affected by it?
Yes, I would definitely say that before COVID, what was happening is that pain point marketing, or like pointing out things that you're lacking in sort of a that doesn't make you feel good. So you buy this thing because you think it is the solution that will help you, but once you've bought it, you realize it isn't the magic pill that you needed. You actually still need to be doing the work to get the results. People have been buying that and now they've learned that lesson. So they feel done
Mhm.
in. They feel like they've been
Right.
forced to buy these programs or services or whatever the situation is, and realize that that isn't the solution. That wasn't the solution in the first place, you know? And so that's also done some damage, because now when we're trying to sell and make offers and stuff like that, we're like, I just don't want my potential clients to feel like I'm forcing them, or, making them think that this is like the only thing that will like change things. And then we hold back on actually serving and selling, right? So it has had an effect, but I think it really helps us to be more intentional with our marketing and how we show up. And so also what I do in my program is the relationship building that you mentioned. You're not just going to gain followers randomly, put out your message, and then you get clients. That is actually the second step and the longer game in your marketing. You want to be building your network and building relationships, even if it's virtually one on one, or in the messages, like being a real human, like asking questions,
Yeah.
getting to know people, and really focusing on the relationships. And that is when they know of you, and they know the value of like how you made them feel in that relationship building piece. When you nurture them with your message, they're going to trust you so much faster and then buy from you. And also, you can just get clients straight from the relationship building networking side of it. And there are times when you just get a follower, they read one message and they buy from you, right? It all just,
Yeah.
everything works, but it's being willing to just keep going, keep being consistent, and really checking in on your intentions in the end of the day.
I love that, Lauren. Thank you for sharing. I think what is key in there is to just remember when we're marketing that we are marketing to people who will see this are all in different stages of, life, of the actual problem that you're solving, the struggle that they have. So we need to serve all of them. We need to serve them in a way that, it isn't not, it wouldn't be right for everybody to buy your stuff right away anyway, because some of them would just not be committed. It's not the right time. It feels forced. All the stuff you said, people have had enough. Even with the news, and you see it in other ways, that people just want the truth, right? People are just
Yeah.
tired of lies and tired of deception. And when you show yourself in a unique way, which is just being you, that is your uniqueness, then there's just so much beauty and magic that can follow from that. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. This has been such a great episode. I've loved our conversation. I have one last question for you, Lauren. So what does building your business with boundaries mean to you?
Oh, yes. It means that I am building boundaries and relationships with myself more than I am doing it because of clients or family or things like that. Because in the end of the day, sometimes we struggle to uphold our own boundaries or have our own relationships with ourselves. So that's something that I'm practicing. Whereas when I say to myself, I'm going to do something, then I try and do that. I'm not really great at that yet, but that's the whole point of us growing, right? So I
It's
think
all a journey.
I think if we can Yes, if we can honor ourselves and build boundaries with ourselves and love ourselves more, and know that we're building our business in terms of like the bigger picture and the bigger impact that it will have, then, we're already getting ahead somewhere. So yes, I think that's what
Oh,
it would mean for me.
that's lovely, Lauren. That's lovely. So, how can people find out more about you? And have you got something free that you can share with people so that they can take their next steps with building that mindset for marketing?
Yes, thank you. I have a Identify Your 5 Different Types of Imposter Syndrome free workbook that is really powerful. If you struggle with imposter syndrome, it also helps you to think of things differently, and you can use that with the conversation we've had today in terms of specifically your marketing. But it really just helps you to dig into some of that imposterism that we feel and how it affects our business and our marketing and everything. So, yeah, feel free to download that.
Fantastic. I will pop the links in the description. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link will also be in the YouTube description. So check that out. Sounds like a wonderful workbook. Again, it's about taking action. And I'm always going on about taking the action. So this workbook sounds like a great way to not only kind of validate and truly understand this whole marketing concept that we've touched on in this episode, but to take it that step further, because there's always room for improvement, right? And when it's to do with our mindset, it affects every part of our life, not just our business. So thank you so much, Lauren, for being here and for sharing your wisdom with the listeners. I really appreciate
Mm,
everything you've shared.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you for having me.
This podcast is for you, so reach out and let me know what you thought about this episode. You can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram, where I also share valuable content. If you enjoyed this episode, then hit the subscribe or follow button on your favourite podcasting platform so you never miss another episode. I can't wait for you to join me for the next episode of the Build with Boundaries podcast.